So there seem to be a million ways a transformation could go wrong. And I think that's the world that a lot of our ICPMs face out there. If you go log into subreddit, you'll see so many average anonymous ICPMs saying, I'm disillusioned by this product management. I'm just being handed features. It is not like what Marty Kagan wrote in Inspired and what Christian has been talking about on podcasts. And they often do call you guys out by name and they'll say, yeah, it's just not, because those books, that book, especially Inspired, is often people's very first thing they read when they get into product management. And then their job is nothing like that. You must hear people coming to you and talking to you about that. What is the advice you give to those PMs?
Oh boy. I think many people wonder, it's like, are you living in the real world? This SVPG, Marty Kagan, you guys, this feels like utopia. We are describing how the most innovative companies work, how great products in the world have been built, the things we love, the things we admire, the principles that have guided them. We kind of argue, great products, they do come from great product teams working in an empowered environment, but these are just ordinary people like you, like all the people writing about this. And there is some genuine, true passion of ours to get more companies to work that way. Just because it's not easy doesn't mean it's not right. Just because your company may not be there today doesn't mean that we shouldn't challenge them to. There's so much out there that helps people survive in in their environment, to survive a future team. Like, there's a lot of books, talks. Most product people teach you tactics of this is how you do your roadmap, how you do your stuff, how you do. I get it. That's important for people to survive their environment. But remember, we philosophically believe that the best products in the world are built, created in this environment, and we recognize that working in this way is the best way to take care of your customers, is the best way to take care of your employees. I've not met a single, that's why they are frustrated. They're like, we want to work like this. We want to feel empowered. We want to have some strength of good collaboration. We want to care about outcomes, you see? So it's the best way to take care of your customers. It's the best way to take care of your employees. And it's the best thing you can do for your business. So we have to continuously, constantly challenge the world to rise to that. There are legacy models that come out of the whole industrial revolution that treat knowledge workers like factory workers, that care more about what you do with your hands than what you do with your brains. And we're saying, look, you got smart people. It doesn't make sense to get all these smart people and tell them what to do, like Steve Jobs says. We want to give them problems to solve. We want to drive innovation and value for them. So I tell people all the time, I say, look, you can be very critical about your not realizing what this looks like or not being able to experience it. The reality is that it does exist. There are several companies that work this way and they are successful doing it. And I can empathize with your reality that is not your environment today. And on one end, you might be asking us indirectly, tell me how to survive my environment. And I say there are many people that tell you how to do that. But we are rising to a place where we say we want to help companies transform to that environment. Because we know deep inside, that's what you want. You want to work in that environment. You want to experience that environment. And maybe today you're not participating in that. So I always want to empathize with people around that. And I say, look, let me describe what that looks like, what this environment looks like. If you think it is crazy, if you think it doesn't make sense, we can have that conversation. But nobody's like, that doesn't make sense. You're always like, yeah, but that's not my reality. They are so far from it. Can you find me a company that does that so that I can go there? And I said, if everybody runs to those companies, who is going to transform the other ones that are doing this? And I challenge people to say, look, you can practice the behaviors of those companies, the principles that makes them successful, even within an environment that is not so. You can pick the ones that you can. I mean, you can talk to customers, you can experiment, you can iterate, you can prototype, you can work more collaboratively, you can start to share outcomes when someone is measuring you on output. It is hard, it is painful, but remember, all of these product managers, they are the future generation of product leaders. If nobody is clear to them about what good looks like, then they are just going to reinforce what they've survived in for a whole new generation of people, like you said. So I don't take lightly what our position is and our role in this is. And I am glad that the product community is big and large enough that there are people that teach people how to survive in that environment. We are taking a stance of teaching people how to work better in the product model or transform to the product model.
Okay. So if you had to distill your playbook for this ICPM who's in an environment that is struggling to transform, what are your top tactics for them? These are the things you should do in order to enjoy your job more, but also move towards the better way of building products.
I mean, look, we do talk about the change and the dimensions of change. In our book, we say, in a product model or move into it, you have to change how you build, test, and deploy things. Kind of what true agility really means is that, if you want to take care of people, you have a problem, I should be able to solve that problem. If I solve it, you should be able to experience that solution as quickly as possible. If you have an opportunity, you should be able to capture it. So you've got to have the infrastructure, the architecture to capture that. You need to change how you solve problems. That's the shift from giving people projects and roadmaps to giving people problems to solve. And you have to change how you decide which problems to solve. This is a big shift where your opportunities are no longer driving your product priorities, but your product priorities are driving your opportunities. It comes from strategy. It comes from, I understand all of the levers and drivers in our business, and we are choosing this to focus on because it will help everybody. You're moving to more proactive behavior than reactive. Not less top down, less outside in, and more. Our job is to solve problems in a way that our customers will love and work for our business. If you're an IC kind of doing this in terms of behavior, remember I said, business transformation does start with individual transformation. And, I tell people, while you cannot, the only things you can control in some ways are what could happen, how you prepare for what could happen, and how you respond to what has just happened. You don't have a control about what will happen in some ways, but in our job, you have to start to shift your mindset. Understandably, you've been given a project, a roadmap item. The reality is that in the purest sense of the product manager job, there's nothing for you to do if you've been given a roadmap or a project. You're just, you're more like a project manager to deliver that project, you see? But your job is not really to deliver the project or to gather the requirements of what people want. There's a reason they want it. There's a reason they want that project. Say, what really is the problem they're trying to solve? What really is the outcome they want? You can deliver that project or solution and still not deliver the outcome. So a couple of things I train product managers to do is I try to shift their mindset. Your job is not to validate an idea. Your job is not to gather requirements. Your job is to solve a problem. So you need to push back and find out. And don't do it in a no, I won't do this. Do it in a way of saying, look, I want to make sure we're successful. So what really do you want from this? What really is the outcome you want? And you need to take some accountability, some agency around, if I understand this to be my job, I need to practice that for the company because that's what's best for the company. That's what's best for, it's not delivering the project. What's best for the company is delivering why they want the project. We want a new website. Why? To get more customers. What if I built a new website and we didn't get more customers? Should I look for another way to get more customers? Is building a website the best way? Can I gather evidence to do that? So I always tell them, orient yourself on the outcome that you can practice. You don't have to work in a product model. Any company you're in, you can ask yourself, why are we doing this? What problem are we trying to solve? What's in it for the business? How will success be measured? Who are we solving this problem? You can ask that question. Next thing is you have to recognize that your job now is to solve the problem, not to deliver the future or to validate an idea, and you can start to work more collaboratively. Bring your engineers into it. Bring your designer. Don't work sequentially. I've done my part, you do your part. You can practice that. You can say, look, our best chance of success is if everybody's in the huddle. If everybody has context, everybody has clarity in some ways. Then, you're going to leverage the skills and competencies of all these people, product design, engineering, and solving the problem. You can start to practice those things. It is hard because you're saying, look, I'm trying, but then another fire hits my decks, another reactive stuff, hits my decks. But the best thing you could do is to represent your customer the best on your team. Have a deep knowledge of them, of your customers and your users, because when you start to do that, you start to shift the dynamic within the company. Because the reason we do most of the things we do as a company is we argue it's for our customers. So if you are the expert on the customer in the company, it makes sense for someone to come to you to say, hey, we want more customers. You're the expert. How do we get more customers? But if you're not the expert, if I feel I know more about the customer than you, then I will just keep telling you what to do. So those are things that I tell people tactically. You need to start to elevate what good product management looks like. You don't need permission. You don't need to change your whole environment to become the expert in your customer and your user. Nothing else gives you more credibility in the product organization or in your company than you being the expert in your customers and your users.